Well, it's been a while. I've been away for a month. So welcome back to the King of Hearts podcast. Honestly, I don't know what to say. So much has been going on, but also nothing has been going on. I feel like everything's changed and nothing's changed. However, today we have actually someone very special. I actually read her book 2 years ago when I was getting over my breakup with my first love, which was the most traumatic. So I'm so excited to bring on the pod today Chidera. She's the best-selling Sunday Times author of How to Get Over a Boy. And now you've just got a new book that's coming out, or has it already come out?
It's called Pocket Power from the Slumflower. That came out in November last year. And this is my first book that you're holding called What a Time to Be Alone, which is the Sunday Times #1 bestseller.
And you know what? It's crazy how the universe just puts things in your hands. Like, I need to learn to be alone. I've been single now for like 6-7 months.
I thought you were going to say 6-7 years. And I'd be like, well done,
Babe,
champion.
it's been a well done, champ. I haven't been this single since 2020. It's been 4 years that I've been this single.
Oh my God, woe is me. It's been so long, just having boys all over me.
Can't help it. I mean, I did have a hot girl summer, which is a whole nother topic. But yeah, also just being alone. So yeah, what a time to be alone is what I need to be doing right now. And I am doing it.
If you love me, let me fly away. Maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe I won't.
But anyway, tell me more about you for the people that don't know who you are. Who are you? What do you stand for? Like, tell me just like a little summary of you.
First of all, thank you for having me on this wonderful podcast, Chiara.
Thank you.
I am...
Coming on.
Of course.
Like, especially after the book, I was like, oh, we need to get onto that as well. Like, how to get over a boy.
We definitely will. But I'm known popularly online as the Slumflower.
So what does that mean, the Slumflower?
So the Slumflower is a name that I started going by back in like 2014, 2015.
Wow.
And it was supposed to be reminiscent of Tupac's concept of the rose growing from concrete. The idea of something so beautiful and tender growing from an environment that doesn't necessarily promote its growth. And so I kind of grew into the name as I got older. And now I am known as outside of being a Sunday Times #1 bestselling author, I am Slay. I have a podcast called the Slumflower Hour, which I like to describe as a domain for disobedient women who date men. Yes, I encourage
Do you date
women.
men?
Unfortunately, I do.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
It's
not good
difficult
for
times.
you.
I know. It's not. It's actually quite damaging.
It's like having
and
a sugar
traumatic.
addiction.
It is.
Dentists do not recommend.
But you want it so badly.
You want it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
every
I
day.
teach women to be more selfish with their approach to dating men. The men hate my podcast. The women love my podcast.
Men hate me as well.
Men hate you. What have you
Yeah.
ever done? I'm sorry. I've not seen you do anything that's hateable.
But like, honestly, I just feel like, well, 90% of my audience is women.
Okay.
And then the
so-
men that do comment are like, oh, what does she even know about anything to do with dating? Like, she is just like this. They call me a whore. They call me gold
Wait,
digger. They call me,
whore?
yeah, they call me a whore.
Wait, but in order to be a whore, you have to have sex. So, slay.
Exactly. Exactly. But we all have sex. So
Exactly. Your mom's a whore.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, she missed her period because of you.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Anyway.
On to more pressing matters.
Yeah.
So I use my platform as a site to encourage women to be more bold, more selfish, and I give women literal tools and tactics on how to talk to men to get more of what you want.
Wow.
The main reason men hate my podcast is because I encourage women to date men who have money, and a lot of men don't like that because they obviously feel excluded, which is the whole point, because we're not for everyone. And I think certain people should be excluded from certain things until they're able to rise to a level where they deserve it and can afford to sustain it.
Yeah, well, it's the men that call women gold diggers, the ones that don't have any gold.
Right. And I think
To
that's
dig.
quite a fascinating concept because men normally approach you and then they accuse you of digging when actually they're the ones digging for a mother, an emotional support,
Or
someone
in
to help them with their bills.
social status as well.
Oh, definitely
for
that,
me,
the clout. Yeah.
personally.
Oh my God, you must deal with that then, like
Yeah.
having a high profile.
Yeah, they say, oh, like one ex called me a gold digger. And I was like, babe, I literally take you on brand trips and take you to premieres and get you loads of free stuff. So who's
So
the
what gold did
digger?
you dig then if he's
Yeah.
the one who left with more than he came with? Oh.
Oh yeah. That's the tea.
But yeah, this is why I do the work I do, because there are so many women who are getting caught up in the firing line of feeling like they need to prove and explain themselves to men. They feel like this gold digger trope is something that they have to constantly defend themselves against, when, in my opinion, you owe men no explanation. Men should consider themselves lucky that you might even see them as a possible target for gold digging, because that would imply that they have gold. So it's a compliment if I see you as somebody that I would possibly want to exploit for your materials. But luckily for most men, they don't have any materials to exploit. So
Do you know what's funny though? It's like, you know, I was on this like women's retreat on the weekend, and we were talking about the patriarchy, and I mentioned the patriarchy in one of my Instagram posts, and they were like, of course she has to bring up the patriarchy, like, and then like, and I'm just like, bro, just chill. But the point I was making was, we've grown up in a patriarchy as women, in a society where we are at a disadvantage to men. Like, and I'm so sorry. If you really genuinely don't believe that's true, like, you need to go and fact check yourself. Like, just look, like, you know, everything, men just have more power than women, like, technically speaking, in society. And like, everything is to their advantage. So if I myself can make more money than you at a disadvantage in society, what are you doing with your life?
what was you doing with all that privilege?
Yeah,
Clearly.
exactly. You were sitting at home smoking weed on the couch every
while
day.
you was out making moves.
Exactly. I was out making moves. And then they blame me. And they're like, and then, you know, I've also met some other men, like not strong even, but like wealthy men, that they'll say, oh, I'd never date you, Chiara, because you're too strong and independent. And I couldn't. And
I can't break you. I can't date you because you threaten my sense of identity.
You threaten my ego.
Yeah. Oh, you can't pretend to be frail and dainty for me.
They want an accessory. They want a
and they
little
want someone who
feminine.
would find it hard to leave. Like,
want
you
someone
would
to
be able to
manipulate.
leave.
Yeah.
Right, because what men value, especially the ones who are insecure, is, first of all, you'd be a perfect target, because it's more satisfying to break a strong woman than to break a woman who says, hey, like, please break me. I will cook and clean.
Yeah.
They don't
and at
like
first
that.
they'll say, oh, I love a strong independent woman. But not later down the line, they don't.
Also, I do find it a bit weird when men are like, oh, I love when a woman is independent, because independence normally means, you know, you can wipe your bum by yourself, you can brush your own teeth, make your own food. It's a bit weird to say you like a woman who's independent, because that implies then that there are women who are not independent.
But they don't like a woman that's independent.
No, clearly not.
A lot of men actually like to like do everything, and like I do have an ex-boyfriend who would just like cook for me, do everything for me, pick me up like I was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while it felt controlling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, shit, I'm in a cage now and I don't know how to leave.
Right, because what's tricky about control is the men who are controlling, they will normally lead with the traits you just described, cooking for you, taking care of you. And
Like
when
dominant is the
right,
stereotypical word for it. Dominant and masculine, like caretaking, and like I'll be like that man who can just do everything for you and you don't have to like a princess treatment.
Mm-hmm. That's why for me it's like,
I'm a bit scared of princess treatment now.
what scares you the most about princess treatment?
Because I've had princess treatment in brackets in the past, and that princess treatment has been disguised as control.
Yeah, and I think what's really fascinating about princess treatment is when we look at depictions of princesses, they aren't women who necessarily advocate for themselves. We don't really see them pushing back unless they're literally Mulan. But then Mulan wasn't really given that princess storyline. She spent her whole life fighting, unfortunately for her. For me, where my work comes in is I try to encourage women to strike a balance by using more of their voice. So it's totally okay to want a guy who's going to give you princess treatment, but you need to recognize when that princess treatment is turning into control.
Yeah, how do you know?
Well, this is the thing. The signs will always be there, right? So for example, how you started feeling controlled. Usually how you know is when that guy is starting to weaponize the favors he does for you, or you start to feel this sense of guilt or
I felt
discomfort
so
around doing
much
things that you
guilt.
already did before you met him, but you start to overthink everything you're doing. You
Yeah.
feel like you owe him something. That's a
Yeah.
very common one I hear from women who are scared of dating men who have money. They feel like they owe men something. They feel like,
You owe them like, okay, well, now they've paid for dinner
now I
and
have to
they
have
bought
sex
me
with
something.
him.
Yeah.
yeah, men have expectations. Doesn't mean you have to meet their expectations though. I mean, we have expectations of men. Do men meet our expectations? No, they don't. Men will literally propose to us and ask us to marry them. We marry them, they still cheat. We expect them to stay with us, they don't stay with us. So just because a man has expectations doesn't mean you need to meet those expectations. And that's the part where I think
Being
women experience
stronger.
difficulty.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's definitely like, I don't know if you're listening right now, and like it's like this lack of self-respect, I would say, like not setting myself boundaries and not respecting myself. So when I do go for that date or, you know, spend time with a man and not feeling that guilt of now I owe them something, because if I were to respect myself so much, I'd be like, I am so great. I will sleep with them or I will kiss them or I will ever when I want to, not because I feel guilty for not having done. So now I'm going to out of guilt.
Exactly, because I've met countless women.
I've done it in the past.
Same. I used to date men out of guilt and pity. Like I literally would feel sorry for a guy and be like, oh, no one gives him a chance. So I'm going to give him a chance. And you think you're going to get a reward. No, you don't. He's going to be horrible to you.
Yeah.
Because he can also see that you don't value yourself. If you valued yourself, you wouldn't have chosen a man like that.
Yeah.
Keyword is choose. Like,
And valuing yourself.
and a lot of women don't know where to start with valuing themselves. And I think it's because they don't know how to be alone. They don't recognize that solitude is not a failure. Solitude or
I don't
being
know
alone.
how to be alone. I'm going to be fully honest with you. Like I haven't known how to be alone for 4 years. This is the first time in my life, genuinely, which is so funny that you've given me this book, that I'm like really trying to learn to be alone. And it's fucking scary. Like there are moments where I'm just like, I just want a distraction. Or, you know, I opened Bumble and Hinge the other day.
What did you see, girl?
I deleted it immediately, like a day later, because I just felt like I was selling myself. I don't know. I felt like I don't think I was ready. And I noticed that it was an act of loneliness. It was an act of desperation. And I was just like not getting any attention from guys. I wasn't speaking to anyone. I wasn't texting anyone. And I was like, oh my God, like I was getting really jittery and like weird. And like I was getting like, oh, I was like, I need attention. So I opened the apps out of desperation, out of loneliness. And I'm like on this, like I'm trying to face those hard feelings of feeling alone. But it's not actually that scary being alone. I think it's the thought of being alone that's scarier than actually being alone itself.
I deeply respect what you just shared. The vulnerability in discussing that loneliness and desperation that led you to opening the dating apps. This is why in a lot of my work, I actually use my platform to encourage women to get off dating apps. And you would think that as someone who has a lot of real estate in the conversation around dating, it would be in my financial interest to promote dating apps. But the reason why I encourage single and straight women to get off dating apps is because it can sometimes be a vehicle for seeking validation.
Massively.
But it is based on immediate/instant gratification.
Yeah, and you honestly, most of the girls I speak to, they go on the dating apps. They don't even respond to the guys that message them.
Yeah, because it's about the validation and feeling.
It's like a like on an Instagram post. Oh, that's nice. I got loads of messages from a guy. Okay.
Right, that's all you wanted. But then also, I do think for someone like yourself, which this is more specific and unique because you're a public figure and similar with me, we don't belong on dating apps. The reason why I say that is because you will be targeted by men who might not know who you are, and then you give them a bit of insight about you, then they'll Google you, they realize, oh my God, she's got money, she's got fame. You don't know that if that guy is gravitating more towards you because he wants some clout or he wants some money.
Seen
like
that before, yeah.
You've got to be extra careful. And you're not someone who is lacking when it comes to having the opportunity to meet men. You travel.
Yeah.
You are in partnership with loads of brands. There's always going to be an opportunity for you to be around new groups of people.
Mm-hmm. And I think if it's meant to be, it will happen, you know?
Yeah. And also, like, you'd be surprised if you're fearing solitude, you will still feel that solitude with a man because
Oh, I did.
you're scared of being alone.
Exactly.
So you're still scared of yourself, but now you've just got a person next to you while you feel your same fears.
Yeah. And also highlighting a load of them as well. But in a way, like, I don't know how to be alone. Like, if, you have any tips, and if anyone listening right now, if you're feeling alone and you're like, shit, I don't know how to get through this. Like, I want to just jump into another relationship, which we all do. We all jump into relationship, or we never get into relationships because we become too hyper independent as well. That's another, like, that's the opposite side of the pendulum. I have friends who jump from relationship to relationship to relationship.
Same.
Then I have the other opposite of the end of the spectrum. I've had friends who've never been in a relationship because they just, I don't know, maybe they've just got a barrier that's keeping them from building a connection.
Yeah. I think when
And that's also from fear. It's fear of being alone, and also fear of being vulnerable.
Of course. And when I ponder on your question of, well, how do you navigate being alone? For me, the last time I slept with a guy was 2021. And
No.
yeah.
No.
And that was like a brief sort of 2-week, 3-week bender of dating. That wasn't even a relationship.
2021. You haven't slept with
The pussy
anyone.
has been in storage for about 3-4 years.
No way.
Yeah.
How does it feel? Like, you've been celibate for 3 years.
Well, this is the thing, right? The word celibate is so
Wait, how old are
fascinating.
you?
I'm 29, so I'm 30 in December.
So you've been celibate
interesting-
since 27.
So the thing is, right, the word celibate implies that like I'm
Actual
on
sex.
a sabbatical from sex. It's more like no man has been good enough for me to
Yes,
open the
girl.
curtains, Like it's just not found a good reason to do so.
Wow.
But in that period, I've not felt this sort of sense of like, oh my God, I really need a boyfriend. Because for me, and this leads back to your question of, well, how do you explore being alone? I have found myself in a place where I am indulging in all the activities I've ever wanted to do. Like, I started pole dancing after I left that guy in 2021 because I was like, I need something that's going to give me a sense of focus and fulfillment and improvement and achievement for the next 6 weeks. So I booked a pole beginner course, and that became something that now is still my hobby. So one of the things is you need to get, like, I'm not even being sarcastic, get a hobby, girl. Like, you need to get a hobby.
Get a hobby.
You need to get a
horse riding.
hobby.
Ride a horse.
Yes.
Don't ride anything
Not a man,
else.
a horse.
Exactly.
Specifically a horse. If
A
you can
horse.
find a horse.
Ride it. Ride that horse.
But like, the reason why hobbies are important is because, especially if you are engaging in that hobby through the structure of like a course or something, let's say it's a 6-week course, that means you have once a week where it is all about that hobby, whether that's 2 hours a week or 1 hour a week, depending on how long that particular lesson or class is. You have 1 day a week for the next 6 weeks to focus entirely on yourself.
Yeah.
Another thing as well is, I definitely think that part of this is like exposure therapy. Like, you have to expose yourself to the thing you fear. So if you fear being alone, you need to do more things alone. The next time the musician who you love is coming to the city near you, go on your own. Don't wait for your friends to say, oh, I might come, I might not come. And then by the time tickets are sold out, none of you can get any tickets. Just buy the ticket first and then invite your friends. If they come, they come. If they don't, they don't. If they don't come, that's an opportunity for you to explore just being by yourself and not feel that sense of, when you go to music gigs and like you're in a standing area and you're seeing the couples that like, he's got his hands around her neck and they're both swaying together to the music and you're feeling that longing of like, I wish that was me. Girl, you don't even know if they're in a situation.
Yeah, they might even.
She might look at his phone this evening and find some shit.
Or she might not even like him.
She might not
She
even
just
like
feels
him.
bad.
They might not even like each other.
Yeah.
They're both just in each other's coasting journey of avoiding being alone.
Exactly.
You just don't know that because they're an aesthetic couple.
We're just going to take a pause there and we'll be back after this break.
I was on holiday in Portugal this summer and I went to this, a friend of mine was playing a concert. He's a DJ at this like really nice like beach club. And my friends, I got there like at 10:30 p.m. and my friends were like an hour and a half late. So for an hour and a half, I was alone in the gig. And at first I was like, you motherfucker, like you fucking got late. I'm on my own here. I'm in a nice fucking outfit. Like
On my
I
own.
look sexy as hell. And I was really pissed off. I was like on my period. I was just like, ugh, like you really annoyed me that you're late. And I hate lateness already. So for me, like an hour and a half late, I was like, oh my God. But then it got to a point, I was just standing in the crowd and I was like, do you know what? I can either be a bitch right now and I can really just like not enjoy this for the next hour and a half, or I can just let go and just enjoy it and just vibe here on my own. And I ended up having a better time on my own, but whilst waiting for them than when I was actually with them when they came.
Fascinating, isn't it?
I was
you didn't
like,
die.
what was so scary about like being on one? I think I was just, for me, it was being scared of other people judging me being on my own.
Which is fascinating as well in itself, because it's like, you'd be so surprised to know that the people who you think are judging you, they don't care. Like,
No
some of
one
these
really
people are wondering
cares.
if the boy's going to text them back. Someone else is wondering if their grandmother's going to make it. Another person has missed their flight. They're just waiting another 4 hours to just let the day pass. Another person is wondering if they're going to pass their exam in the next couple of months. Like, you're not that important to anyone. And I'm not saying that to say that you're not important. It's to actually neutralize everything when you remember, I am not that important. It's not about me.
It's not that deep.
Therefore, the perception of my solitude doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because also you have to think the context of who is perceiving you. Does that person have a relationship with their self where they're comfortable in their solitude? Probably not.
Yeah,
So
not
I'm
many
the
of
kind
us
of person,
are.
I'll be eating on my own in restaurants. I'll be doing my thing. Like, if someone feels sorry for me, that's because of their perception of solitude.
That's their own insecurity coming out. It's a
Yeah, like,
reflection of how
I
they're
actually
feeling.
like eating on my own because unfortunately when I talk while eating, it gives me gas and I get trapped gas and so I can't finish my food. So
Yeah.
it's like, I'd rather eat in silence and then afterwards I'll be like, who wants to hang out? Like,
I love that.
Right. And I just think that the more a woman is able to be by herself, the better her dating choices will be.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
If you
Big
can't
time
get
agreed.
over that hump, you are literally going to throw away years of your life to men. You're not getting that time back. That's the most important thing I try to remind women of. You are not getting that time back. You can lose money and make money again. Time, you're not getting that back. I have met women in their 40s and 50s who have said to me, they just wish that they had used more of their 20s for themselves.
Wow.
Yeah, we could sit here being like, wow, all day, but it's like, time is going.
Yeah.
And you do not want to be that person who gave your 20s away to longing for men and yearning for boys. It's like, these boys are doing nothing for your life other than giving you validation.
Or an STI.
Or a fucking STI.
Yeah.
An itchy fanny after all of that.
Awful.
For what? They pass STIs
And then blame it on the woman.
Of course they will. So that's why I'm like,
Women hold the guilt of that and men just spread it around like wildfire and don't care. All they do care about is, are you on the pill?
oh yeah, of course.
No, we don't have to use a condom, but are you on the pill? Because like, I just need to know that I'm not going to get you pregnant. I'm like,
Yeah.
so you don't care about giving me any STIs, but you
No,
do
they just
care
want it to
about
feel
getting me
good.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because that makes sense.
And also they will try and like spin it with some PR and be like, you know, it'll make us be closer. It shouldn't be a plastic layer between us.
Yeah.
I can't feel anything.
Can't feel the energy.
Can't feel anything at all. Nothing
It's
at all.
too big, you know?
Yeah, clearly.
It's too big for the
So
condom.
for that reason, oh yeah, they love that one, innit? Speaking of
Doesn't
meanwhile,
fit.
the condom is gaping, slipping off.
Slipping it.
It's literally, you know when it come out and it's like still hanging inside your pussy. Ooh, how do I know that? I don't know. Talking about, oh, it's too tight for me. Good, you'll be fine.
At least no babies will be born.
No, not unless I want them to be born.
Exactly. And I do want them to be born one day, but not with the wrong one.
Yeah, because this is the problem I see happen with a lot of women as well. Like the man you choose is the father you choose for your
Of your
children. But also
children.
the man you choose is the lifestyle you choose. Men will bring you to whatever level they're at. So if you meet a man and he's in a place in his life where he might have money, but he feels really low about himself and he has fallen out of everyone in his family, you're being pulled into that tornado. If you meet a man and he's in a place in his life where he's really confident, he's doing well for himself, you'll be brought to that level too.
Yeah.
So it's not just about choosing a guy for looks. This is why, again, I try to encourage women, as you get older, you need to prioritize looks less. Because one day, if the looks fade and you're going to feel resentful when the bills all come in and, you know, I'm hearing children's nursery is like £500 per week or something diabolical like that.
But it's
the
not
man
even
can't
that.
even afford that.
It's not even that.
But
They don't make
he's
you
good
laugh.
looking though. Yeah. It's like, you're not dating a man for looks. You're dating a man for him to provide and make your life easier. If he can't do that for you, the bare minimum, what's the man there for? He's a literal key ring on your bag.
And what if you are a woman that can already provide for herself? What can that man bring?
This is the thing though. He should still provide on top of you providing for yourself.
Oh.
He needs to bring more because there will always be someone who's got more than what you got. Period. This is what I'm saying though. Like people like us who are able to provide for ourselves, who are successful women, there's this idea that, oh, because we have money, we should just go for a man who doesn't. That's where you mess up. That's where I've seen a lot of women, especially famous women. That's where their story usually goes on the
They
decline.
go for like a toy boy.
Yeah, you go for a
like
toy
a
boy. You go for a
model.
guy who like, oh yeah, he's got potential. I'm going to help him. Girl, it's a man. Leave him alone.
You can't fix
You need
anyone.
to pick a man who will boost you up. Like if you're already on 1 million income and you partner with a guy, partner with someone who's on 5 million. Like it's always onwards and upwards, because just like in your career, you're always aiming to go higher, to do more, to dream more. Why in your dating life would that suddenly be different? Why is it that a woman knows how to be ambitious, a go-getter?
But then when it comes to men,
you're like, ooh, I'm just going to go for the local man round the corner.
yeah, I don't get
Local
it.
man.
That I think it all does really come down to self-esteem, though.
It does, and no one wants to
Yeah.
acknowledge that.
Because we live in a world where we're constantly told every day that you need to buy this, you need to wear this, you need to do that in order to be good enough. So we're told every single day basically that we're not good enough. So then we basically go into the dating world not feeling good enough either, because everything is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So you're never going to meet a guy who is good enough for you, because you don't believe that you can have good enough because you don't feel good enough in yourself.
Do you feel good enough?
With reflection on my dating record, no, I don't feel good enough. And I think it's really hard to admit that, but it's also like, I know now that I'm aware of it and that I can work on it by what I'm doing now, like being alone. What I'm worried about though is that I'll meet someone still working on that. But I guess self-love journey never ends. It's always going to be there. It's just, yeah, it's a hard one.
Well, this is the thing, right? Like, you will always be a work in progress, but you're lovable. And I think you can be both. Like, you can be a work in progress and you can still be a woman who does not tolerate what is not meant for her.
Yeah, I think definitely boundaries is something I've like really lacked in. Like saying, no, I don't want to sleep with you, or no, I don't want to kiss you.
No, I don't want to kiss you.
Yeah, but then they will convince you
How do they convince
that you
you?
do.
Please, my mom left when I was 5 and my
Like,
dog
no,
died.
you do want to kiss me.
So
You
give me a
like me.
kiss.
And then you're like, wait, actually, do I like you? And then you like they manipulate you into thinking that you do want it.
And then next thing you know, you're like tongue deep in a snog.
And you're
Down
like,
the fire pit.
I really didn't want that.
At all.
But here I am feeling guilty.
Well, this is the thing, like, we have to use humor to navigate these
It's
things because
just
it's
funny,
it's really
isn't it?
painful, but it's a really dark reality for women.
Yeah.
Like, being coerced into doing things with men you're not comfortable doing.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm like, guilt cannot be the mechanism through which you operate. You got to do better than guilt now, because it's like, and it's another thing that gets me in trouble in my work. Like, I encourage women to have less empathy for men. They will be fine. You'll
They'll
be
be
surprised. But I've seen how
They'll
a
be
woman's
fine.
they actually
They'll
will be
be
fine.
A-okay.
They
Drop them
actually
on
will-
the ground.
They will
They'll
find
sort
someone
themselves
else.
out.
They will find
They
someone else to
will.
mooch off of.
They will.
That's what men do. Once they realize that they've gotten what they can from you, they move on. They're not going to hang around and be like, oh, but I love her, I'm going to hang out. No, they'll move on. So
They
similarly
will.
speaking,
Fuck, that's really sad. I'm like, is my first love ever gonna love me? still?
go.
He's gone.
Go.
He moved
Thank
on.
God he's moved on, because if you in 5
Also,
years
I don't think I
time-
would want to be with him right
Literally
now.
was going to ask you that. If 5 years time, or even now, would you want to be with your first love? Girl, no.
Yeah, I've upgraded since then. Myself. I've upgraded myself.
Amen. But also, why I say women should have less empathy for men is because our empathy for men can put us in danger. You can see a man who, you know, represents a little broken winged bird. And you're like, oh, he's got a really hard situation going on. Let me just help him. I'm going to motivate
Why
him.
do we do that?
Next thing you know, this man's an abuser. You're roped in, or you're hiding money or drugs for him. You're in some next situation. You're going to jail for this man. Girl, how do we get here? Because of your empathy. So you have to train yourself out of feeling sorry for men by recognizing this man has a sob story, so I'm going to pray for him and wish him all the vibes. That is
But
the
I
most
won't be a
can do.
part of that.
I cannot be a part of that. When you get your shit
It's gonna
together,
it's going to
come.
drag you down. But then,
Yes.
but then they can also disguise their life as actually being amazing, and that's when you get trapped in. So they'll be like, "I'm amazing. I have this. I have that. I am this like high value man." Which what the fuck does high value even
redundant
mean?
phrase. Sounds like you're
lot
selling
of
a
men
loaf
say
of
that.
bread.
It's like a very Andrew Tate word. Date of a high value man. A high value man will only be with a woman that's slept with one man in her life, you know? Or a high value man will this and that doesn't go out with women who go out
Cook and
clubbing.
clean. Yeah.
You know? I'm not saying this is all men, because some men are really lovely. Like, I definitely think that there's...
Of course, but they're in the
two sides.
minority, and that's the problem. We have to say some men are really lovely, but you're never going to hear a man be like, but some women are really lovely. They'll listen to your problems and they'll give you a hug. Like, most women are going to do that. So the fact that we have to disclaim that there are some nice men, it's like, but those nice men are in the minority. What are they doing about the world? They're just being like, oh, I'm a nice guy. All men, especially nice men, benefit from the behaviors of the horrible and violent men, because the horrible and violent men make the nice men look good. So good that we're like, see, he's exceptional. He cooks for me and he doesn't hit me. Is that where the bar is?
But why do most women like that toxic man?
Well, because the push-pull gives you a sense of challenge and a sense of success and achievement when you finally won him over and you've proven yourself to him, when as a woman, it was never your place to prove yourself to a man. He needs to audition to be in your life. You need to have that man tap dancing, throwing his hat in the air, spinning plates for you, and you'd be like, unimpressed. Next. Like Simon Cowell, just stop the music. Thank you, that'll be enough, thank you.
That'll be enough.
You do not get a gold buzzer.
You may go to the next round, but I'm not quite sure
I'll think about it. You know, might have to put you in a group with the over 25s. Triggering.
Oh my God.
You need to, if you were to really realize just how much you've got to make men do to impress you, you're not gonna like
and
it.
And they will do it though. That's
this
the thing.
Is the thing, girl.
They will if you set your boundaries. They will go leaps and bounds if you set those. If you don't, they will push you as far as your boundaries go.
Yes, and they get satisfaction from pushing you, but they also equally get the ick, like watching you be pushed. Like, they feel power in knowing that they can bend a strong woman, but they also get the ick from seeing how bendable you are, because it's like, a man like me with nothing to my name, I'm bending you, a star. What's wrong with you? That's how they see. They think something's wrong with you. They think that you are somewhat defected, and because of that defect, they don't see you as a prize. They see you as something that they can use to coast by and to stroke their ego. And it happens to the most successful of women, the prettiest of women. That's why a woman's looks has nothing to do with a man cheating. Men cheat
really. The
can.
most beautiful women get cheated on.
Yeah, because they want to humble you. That's why you need to cheat back. And that's why you need to get there first. And this is why the work I do is very savage and it produces incredible results.
What do you mean by cheat on them first?
Well, when I say cheat on men first, what I usually mean, because men see it as cheating, when actually I don't see it as cheating. I see it as having an open workforce, a roster, if you will, a diverse workforce. You know, there'll be senior positions, there'll be entry-level positions. It might even be an intern.
Oh.
So the intern is the guy who you don't really like him that much, but he just wants to be used by you for whatever you can do. You know, he can you can do your vintage parcels for you. You know, he can just do whatever you need to do. Give a little menial task.
And he'll do that.
This is called a sub, yeah. Like, there are men who are submissive by lifestyle and by desire. They want to be of service to a woman. So those are like the interns.
I've heard that you are also a dominatrix.
Yes, in my spare time, I dominate men.
You dominate men.
Yes.
I love it. How do you
Yes.
dominate them? Teach me. I want to dominate as well.
Well,
We'll see. Who knows?
the thing about dominating men is that you need to reframe your relationship with your empathy. So I still respect all the men who identify as submissive and want to be useful to me, but
They want to be useful to me.
they want to be useful. You know, giving them a sense of purpose. They will thank you for giving them a sense of purpose. But my thing is,
Thank
like,
you for letting me.
that's literally
cook
what they
for
say.
you.
Literally, there are men who will
No.
pay you to come and clean your toilet. There are men who will pay
No.
you for you to use them as a footrest. You know, they get on all fours.
No,
Yeah,
seriously.
girl. Yeah, this is serious.
What's the craziest?
Oh, you know what? I get some crazy requests, but I don't always fulfill them because it's never that serious. But, you know, I've had a guy tell me that he wants to come to my flat and clean my whole flat for me in a maid costume.
No.
And he wants me to be mean to him if he scrubs too slow. The only reason why I'm not interested in that is because I don't want somebody in my house. And secondly, it's like, I'm so anal about cleaning that I will get more angry from telling him you're not cleaning that properly.
Yeah.
Like, this is supposed to be enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be a
I
tense
would definitely
environment.
enjoy a man cleaning my house
Right.
in a maid
Especially-
outfit. I actually would enjoy that.
But also, aside from the joke, like, dominating men's about psychology. It's all about the mental play and reinforcing the idea that you are superior to men. You're better than men.
And they like
because
that.
Men exist because of you. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
they came out of our
you
womb.
come out of, exactly. So imagine something coming out of you. It's like a fucking piece of discharge talking back to
We
you.
are
like,
the universe.
Excuse me.
Like,
You're discharged that grew legs. Don't remember where you came from. Let's not get carried away because I was nice to you. Let's never forget. That's because I could have chosen to close my legs while you was crowning and could end it all right now. So let's just remember our place here. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So a man is a piece of discharge.
That grew legs. And developed some chromosomes along the way. Yeah, because he was simply a misfit. Some. They're missing a few, clearly. He could have been another. Yeah, because like when you don't fertilize the egg, it just comes out of you as gunk. He could have been that, but you chose to allow him to be fertilized. So he should thank you.
He should.
He should thank every woman.
Every man should thank their mother.
Yes, they should endlessly.
Yeah.
All women should be bankrolled by men. It's the least they can do. It's called reparations. Reparative.
So what went wrong that we ended up in a patriarchy?
Well, obviously.
Like what happened?
Well, men
They felt
abused
insecure.
their power. Yeah. Abuse of power is inevitable when men have that power.
Yeah. Look at Cleopatra. She was great.
And she had to do that thing with her pussy to dominate the empire, And
What did she do?
Well, apparently she overthrew an empire. I think she fucked Julius Caesar. And I know that her coochie was gripping. Like, she definitely knew what she was doing. And
Fell in love.
this is the thing, like, a lot of women don't like to accept or acknowledge that a large majority of your power does lie in your pussy. And I think the reason why women don't really like that is because on the surface, that statement paints the idea that a woman is simply just her sexual organ. That's not what that statement means. What the statement, a woman's power is in her pussy, means is that there is nothing a man daydreams about more than a wet, warm pussy. They cannot recreate that experience without us. There's no amount of fleshlights or blow-up dolls they can create that will still replicate the real feeling of a wet, grippy, warm coochie. And so that's why they eternally seek us. They do whatever they can to get access to us. Sometimes
that's why they make money in order to. What do you think they use that money for?
What, the men?
Prostitutes or women. It's
Well,
to
this
get
is why
men. It's to
sex
get
work
women.
exists, though. Like, men created a market for it, but then they get upset when women participate in that market. So they will sexualize you, and the woman will be like, well, I'm going to monetize that sexualization. They'll be like, no, I don't like that. If there was no demand for sex, then sex work wouldn't need to exist. And so it's incredibly frustrating seeing sex workers
such a double standard.
It will always be a double standard because men are hypocrites, and that's why
they want the virgin, but then they also want to screw the prostitute on the side.
Yeah, I find it bizarre, men who
they're like, I want
young,
my wife to be
virgins. That's really scary.
Yeah.
I could not be with a virgin man. That'd be so boring having to explain. Oh my God, having to stop and be like, no, that's definitely not my clit.
Yeah,
that's not even anywhere near my.
No, that's my thigh.
That's literally my thigh. That's actually a pimple that I need to get looked at. Actually, that's not my clit.
Actually squeezing it, so let's not.
And also,
it's gonna get infected.
That fast DJ thing you're doing, it's not effective.
The DJ move.
It's not effective at all.
No.
And then the weak licking, it's actually overstimulating and irritating. I'm counting each lick, and each lick just gets worse. So let's just stop, and should we just watch some new? Yeah, let's just watch something. Yeah, let's not do that. Like, unsatisfying sex is so unfair to women.
It is, yeah, and it happens more than enough time.
We're getting
like 90%
murdered by men, stalked by men, raped by men, and the least we can get is an orgasm. They still won't give us that.
Yeah,
that's why I think you should put the pussy away in storage. And
I agree with you.
You're gonna have to figure out a way to cold turkey get used to your own company, because you being scared of your own company is costing you.
And how can you still enjoy men whilst being celibate and also putting that in storage?
Brilliant question. The way that I enjoy men while being celibate is I absorb their attention that they give me, and I transmute it into fueling my own agenda that I am superior and beautiful and better than men. So, for example, if I'm at a party and a guy is fancying me, I know how to flirt as a way to get a drink, but I'm not giving him my number. Like, I'm going to be like, well, you're going to have to give me 3 reasons to give you my number. And then if I don't like any of the answers, I'm like, well, you failed the audition, I'm afraid. And they normally find it really funny. Like, you have to be genuinely like, it's almost
lighthearted with it,
Yeah, lighthearted and sarcastic. Men are not serious people. They literally will wank inside a plate of spaghetti if you give them the chance to.
They will, yeah.
So you can't take a man's attention seriously.
Wow, I feel like I'm full of now. Every time a guy asks my number, I'm going to ask him for 3 reasons why.
Do it.
I actually am.
Genuinely, you'll be
Because
surprised.
I feel bad. Actually, like when guys ask my numbers, like I was at this bar the other day and a guy comes up to me and is like, can I have your number? And I was just like, I just froze. I was like, and he was like, it's either a yes or a no.
It's a no.
And I was like, and I made the excuse of having a boyfriend.
Yeah, you see, the reason why I stopped doing the excuse of having a boyfriend thing is because men know that you're scared to say no. The next time a guy asks for your number,
yeah,
you need to be like, well, I don't know you and I'm not enticed by you. I'm not impressed by you. Why would I give a stranger my number? But seriously though, like, do you know that
I need to be more confident?
you need the reason why you need to be extremely careful as a public figure, and this is not to scare you, because I'm around a lot of men who are smart and who know how to use technology. And I've seen friends of mine who are sex workers experience serious doxing, which is where you get your personal details exposed online, including your address, from just your phone number. If somebody wanted to find where you live, they can find that. Secondly, if you give someone your phone number and you decide to text them, especially if you use iMessage, the photo, like you might send an innocent selfie from home, that photo contains metadata. They can find where you took that photo from just that picture. Just like how if you go to your camera roll now, a friend has sent you a photo, you scroll up on the picture, you can find on the literal map exactly where they took that photo. So if you are giving strangers your number, just consider that too. Like, you're a public figure.
Yeah.
It's not in your interest to give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give it. It's more the excuse. I feel bad not giving it. It's like,
this is what you need to work on.
To feel bad.
Yeah, strangers aren't entitled to your personal information. That's like someone asking for your medical records. Why do we feel bad? Because we're conditioned to.
Yeah.
Because from the moment you give a guy your number and he hasn't earned it, he already knows that the rest of the process is going to be a light piece of work. Light work. Because you were so quick to give your number. He doesn't care that you felt guilty. He knows that, yeah, she probably feels guilty. She'll probably sleep with me out of guilt too. But he wants to get what he wanted. He doesn't care why you gave him access to you. What matters is that you gave him access to you.
Yeah.
So you need to reframe the way you view giving your number to men. These people are scary people. And aside from scariness, they don't deserve that access. Just because a guy comes up to you and be like, can I have your number? No. Feel mean.
Yeah, I need to feel mean.
You will survive. You'll be fine.
I will be fine.
Men literally murder us every day. Yeah, so saying no to a number doesn't matter because they're not being murdered by us, are they? He'll be fine. He'll ask someone else. You're probably the 10th person he's approached today.
Yeah, that's true.
You're probably the prettiest one, but he's approached 9 other people and he got rejected.
Yeah, he was like, I just came from a date.
Oh.
Yeah. He was like, but I didn't really like her. But can I have your number?
Oh.
And I was like, ugh.
That's how he views women. And you would be surprised. You don't know if you're going to give him...
How a man talks about other women is so telling.
It is. And I just think that, like, men are desperate for attention and validation. That's why he left a date. He didn't like the woman for whatever reason. Probably because she actually had a sense of self-esteem.
She probably didn't like him.
Right. And then he's like, I need to get my ego back. So I'm going to ask this beautiful woman who I don't know for her number. And I think it's very telling the level of confidence men have where they think a beautiful woman will actually give the number. Because a man is only going to approach a situation where he has calculated the risk and he sees a chance of you saying yes. That should be the insult. The fact that you thought I would say yes to giving you, a stranger, my number. I'm insulted. And no, you don't feel guilty. You have to learn to work through that guilt by putting yourself in scenarios where you're going to be like, no, you can't have my number.
No.
Yes, I am a mean girl. To men.
I am a mean girl.
Only to men, I'm a mean girl. To the girlies, love you all. But to men, I'm a mean girl. I'm your worst nightmare.
Oh.
No, you cannot have my number.
I need to embody you more. Really. I'm going to read that book. I'm going to read it tonight.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
My God. I've loved this conversation.
Me too.
Seriously. Like, I wish we could stay here for another 2 hours.
Same.
But
this
apparently
like
time exists.
I know. We've got time is of the essence. But thank you. Honestly, I feel like just had a therapy session.
Oh my God.
And now I feel like I'm definitely going to be saying no a lot more. And also just setting more boundaries for myself. So thank you.
And you won't die from setting those boundaries, but you might die from not setting boundaries. So just see it that way.
Back at home, if you're listening, just take those boundaries strong and read What a Time to Be Alone. If you need to be alone, which we probably all do need to be a bit more alone, I think, in a good way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. And if you loved it, give it a thumbs up, follow the pod, subscribe. Of course, follow Chidera.
Yes, you can find me online at The Slumflower. Thank you so much, Chiara, for
Instagram,
having me. Yeah,
TikTok.
Instagram at The Slumflower, TikTok at The Slumflower.
It's just the sunflower.
Also, I have a live show happening in October.
When?
I sold out night 1, October 26th at Leicester Square Theatre, and I'm now
I
doing
come?
a second. Of course, you can come. I
I'd
just put you on the
love
guest
to
list.
come.
I'm doing a second night, October 27th. Tickets are available now. You can access them via Leicester Square Theatre or just Google search Slumflower Live Show.
And you get more of this goodness. Like, I'm so there. I need a bit more of this. But yeah, we'll see you next week on next week's episode. And I love you so much. You are loved. You are safe. You're amazing. And big kiss. Bye.
Maybe I won't.